Hi, Tessa.
Wow.
Well, we're just about to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
great. Okay.
Miriam, I'm gonna mute you just because I can hear some water, I think, coming from your. Oh, thanks.
It's my cat fountain. We turned it off.
Thank you.
Tessa?
Can
Hi,
Just-
Tessa.
yeah.
Yes, this is Mary Lou Conca coming in
Oh.
as iPhone.
Okay, thank you for letting me know for the minutes. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Well, we're well short of a quorum.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, hey, Jeff. Is Penny Penny or Steve?
Penny is Penny,
Hi, Penny.
and Steve will be on soon. We just finished dinner.
Yeah, Steve got to clean up.
Well, indeed he does. So I'm gonna mute myself until it's reasonable.
Oh. Well, we do have quorum. I'll open the meeting. Are you ready, Tessa?
Ready? Yep. And wait, if you want to wait a moment, Nathan just showed up. So 1 second.
Okay. Okay. Hi, Nathan.
Oh, Deacon.
Well, it looks like we have lots more than a quorum now. I'll start off by reading the governor's announcement. Following the governor's restrictions on public meetings, this meeting is being held virtually using zoom.com for remote participation. Public may access it following the instructions on this meeting's agenda posted on the town calendar. If despite our best efforts, we are not able to provide real-time access, the public can request a recording of the meeting by contacting clerk. Great. I'd like to note before we start that I got a call from an engineer making a query about open space design. I have suggested to him that he call at 8. I hope we can deal with him expeditiously then. I don't think it'll take long. I'm thinking that we should probably hold off on the on talking to Francis Parisi at right now. He's on the agenda for 7:10. I don't want to. I want to make sure everyone who got the notice that we would talk about the cell tower extension at 7:10 to have time to zoom in. So why don't we do the minutes for a few minutes, to fill up the time until then.
Hey, Deacon, can I just do one quick public comment announcement?
Please.
Okay. I mean, you all know this, but just for the record, since for the meeting. So as of Friday, I got permission to be non-recused from matters relating to Wheelock from the Mass Ethics Commission. So just wanted to go on record. I submitted that to the town clerk and to Deacon as required, along with my form disclaiming the appearance of conflict. So, and then also I think I emailed you, I'm probably gonna hop off early, so my apologies, but I'll be on as long as I can.
Well, nothing like a planning board meeting.
Look like you're up in the Adirondacks there with the flannel shirt and everything, you know?
Catskills.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
My old stomping grounds back in the 60s, early 60s.
Yeah, it's nice. Pouring rain today on the way out though.
Here too.
Deacon, I would also like to say something very quickly as well.
Please, please.
I just would like to, in the record, thank the voters of Shutesbury for giving me a clear majority in the election on Saturday. So.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
welcome aboard. You may live to regret it.
I hope I do, you know, I hope I do.
I would say not may, but will.
Steve has firsthand evidence to that effect.
So,
Well, congratulations.
3 more years.
You think it's only 3.
Well, you know,
A lot of lifers on the board.
I see that. I see that. So, I mean, you know,
Well,
let's see if I become one, you know, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I told Steve about 12 years ago or so, 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
That's right.
He's still here.
he said, and I quote, "Oh yeah, only one meeting a month." And that was just when we were undertaking the new zoning bylaws.
You
So
can
that guy
check
going a
in-
little bit more than a
As-
meeting a month.
As Deacon said long ago, he lied.
That was then, this is now.
Yes.
All right. I don't know if we can approve the minutes in 4 minutes, but. You know.
No, I don't think we can. Maybe we should just keep talking.
I think you can, because I don't have anything to contribute.
Well, I was unable to forward them to Jeff, so
I have them. I've reviewed them and I have a couple comments.
Okay. Well, why don't you make those comments, Jeff?
Okay, can I be given permission to share?
Could we ask somebody to mute who's got some voices in the background?
And I'll move to approve the minutes of, it's May, what was the date in May?
6-2.
Ah, okay. 6 June, okay. I move to approve the minutes of June 2nd, 2021.
Okay, I haven't heard a second.
I'll second.
Okay, and now discussion.
Okay. I have the minutes up with a couple of comments, if you don't mind.
Sorry, I missed the second. Who was the second?
Steve.
Thank you.
Okay. Tessa, this is mostly for you. But right here, with meeting with Francis Parisi about extending cell tower, the minutes read, the board can extend a special permit for good cause. It's really not extending, it's preventing the lapse. There's no provision for extension, either in our bylaw or state law. They lapse unless for good cause. And then Donna tells us that we're the ones who can determine if there's good cause. So I changed it saying the board can prevent a special permit from lapsing for a good cause. So that's sort of more correctly what would happen. I mean, it's like an extension, but it's not. Okay. Board feel okay with that?
Yep.
So instead of extending a special permit for good cause, it would be preventing the lapse of a special permit for good cause?
Right.
Okay. With that, yeah, okay, yeah.
All right, so let's see. There's a spelling thing here. I think that's an S, must be.
Yeah,
Indeed.
Council. And then, okay, and my memory just doesn't serve me this year. We're talking about the advantages of appointment versus election, and it says fewer people might come forward to join the board if they have to pay for an election campaign. Is it really pay? Does anybody pay, or is it like go through the process? I'm just not sure if there was concerns about paying.
Yeah, no, I would have thought it would have been, just, if they have to get themselves in the ballot.
Yeah.
yeah.
It would be the process. Instead of pay, if they have to go through the process of an election campaign.
Right.
Or wage an election campaign.
A what?
Wage an election campaign?
Well, I mean, what's the, I mean, I feel like there's a, I just did it, I should know, but when you get the, the signatures, to get your name on the ballot, what's that called?
Nomination.
Yeah,
Nomination.
go through the nomination process.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
yeah. I mean, very few people pay.
Has anybody ever paid?
Yeah,
I
I did for school committee. Yeah, like
No,
for
but
signs and
planning
stuff.
board? I don't think anybody's ever paid to run for planning board.
Oh, planning, maybe not.
What would they pay and why?
Sign.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all-
they-
it's-
yeah.
Has there ever been a contested race for planning board?
There
Yeah.
has. There
Yeah.
has.
Okay.
Somebody ran against me during the zoning thing.
yeah,
And when at least the first time I ran, I was contested.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mine too. My first one was contested.
Yeah.
These things go in waves where there's nobody and then there's more than you need.
Interesting.
Okay, so we're gonna change that to like something like go through the process or go through the nomination and whatever.
I would say, yeah, if they have to go through the nomination process and then strike, pay for an election campaign,
Yeah,
if that would work for everyone.
Sure.
Sure.
okay, my last one here is, let's see, this is when I moved, the associate member zoning amendment, Michael seconded a motion that the associate amendment as written be endorsed, and that DeCiara shall write two amendment report. Actually, Michael wrote the amendment report on this one, and I wrote the one on this one. So it
Correct.
just take out the word two. TWO, strike. And that's all.
I just have a quick thing I would like to look at while this is up.
Sure.
If we go prior to the minutes, 426, the last paragraph of the public comment section,
Up top.
right there. Oh, no. Public comment came not up top. So scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, there.
There's public comment. So go down that last paragraph right there, right? Per town council. And then that sentence, the planning board can join the commission on a site visit to the property. I didn't know if it was the other way around, like the commission, the historical commission would join the planning board on a site visit, or I don't know if I'm remember. I just am asking the question. I'm not asserting that it is. It just looked like it might have been Swift swap. Does anyone else have any recollection of that conversation?
Are you thinking that it implies that the only ones that can do site visits are the historic commission, and that we may join them and not do our own? Or if I don't think that's true.
I think it can go either way. I think what we were trying to figure out is if they have a site visit, if we can just join them, when it seems like that it's a no-brainer that we could.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. Then I'm not. It's kind of 6 to 1, half dozen the other. Who joins who on a site visit? The point is that everyone can be there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, Nathan, I was going to ask a question about the same sentence, but it doesn't limit us. It doesn't limit us to joining the commission. We can do our own independent site work. It just says that we could join them as well. And
Okay. No, yeah, that seems reasonable to me. I was just looking at it, and it made me think about it. So
I think it's just in the context of the conversation of how the historical commission handles these processes and how it interfaces with the planning board. I think that was sort of how we got there.
yeah, no, I think it's fine. That's good to go.
So I got one just below that. DeCiara screen shares edits to the drafted 426 minutes.
That's a good catch.
Ah. I love Zoom. I hope it doesn't end tonight.
Okay. So does anybody else, any more adjustments to the minutes?
Okay.
I'll call the roll unless somebody speaks up. Okay. We already have a motion and a second. So Linda,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Nathan,
Hi.
Michael,
Aye.
and I'm an aye, and I believe that's everybody.
Robert, aye.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Well,
I'm sorry.
my camera's not working, so you're not going to be able to see me, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't mean to exclude you.
That's okay, I understand.
So let's move on to the prevention of lapse of the cell tower permit. So Jeff, you spoke to Donna about this issue.
Yeah, and I don't know if Michael did as well, but
No,
I guess it was just me. And Donna put it out on the Mass Municipal Lawyers Association listserv that I'm a member of as well. And all the responses came back that what happens with a permit like that that was issued prior to the governor's emergency order is that the permit runs for however many, whatever period of time that is. And then when the governor's order went into effect last year, the time clock stops for that 14 months. I think it's 14 months. And then I guess, tomorrow, the time clock will resume. And so basically the permit holder gets 14 months in the middle of the permit that just adds on to the 2 years of the permit duration. So the permit for the cell tower, we don't have to prevent it from lapsing or extend it or anything else. The governor's order has done that. And it now picks up from where it left off. I'm not exactly sure how much that is. I think it's over a year that they still have to act on their permit before it does lapse.
So
we should just have someone do the math, but other than that, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, what was that issued? Like June 2019? And
I think it's June 21 was the date of the decision.
okay, so it goes from June 21 until the governor's order, which might have been March something.
Yeah, March 12th or 13th.
Right. So however many months that is, like
This is high level math. Don't try to do this.
I know Deacon could do this stuff and right in his head. So it goes for 9 months, then you get 14 months of extension, and then it's going to go for roughly 15 more months after that. And then it will lapse.
So they have over 3 years in effect as of from tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That should be sufficient, one would assume.
So that's the message to any of the abutters that are on. We didn't know how this was going to go, whether we would have to make a decision about whether to prevent it from lapsing or whether the governor's order did it for us. But we decided to notify the parties in interest anyway, regardless of what happened, just so you know the status of the permit. So there's roughly 15 more months to go in that permit for them to use it.
So does anyone else want to speak to this? You look happy, Francis.
I got what I wanted. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Thanks to Governor Baker.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay. So.
And I wanted to tell you one thing. I asked this question to 6 different towns, and Donna McNichol was the only one that made the effort to answer it and got an answer. So I got to give a shout out to your council, who I think got the right answer, but I asked 6 different people and no one else could answer it.
Yeah. The only thing I would add is it's probably worth putting a note in whatever special permit folder exists just with this information, so we don't have to revisit it in a year and a half or 2 years and wonder what the dates were.
I can do that. I already put the email letter to butters in that folder. I'm happy to note that what the decision was.
Okay, thanks, Tessa.
Okay.
So, just a question, if let's say that, we didn't have the governor's order and that, Mr. Parisi's client had some other what was it, a force majeure type event that, and he was petitioning us. And that, or maybe, the permit lapses, but then, they decide to break ground the day after the permit lapses. Who is the authority that would rein that in if it was necessary to do so? How would
Our building inspector, who is the zoning enforcement officer.
cease and desist?
Yep.
Beautiful, thank you.
So, are we ready to move on? Does anybody want to say anything more here? Let's go on to Wheelock Solar report.
Thank you very much, all.
Thank you.
Good night. Okay, so I requested a fuller version of that report and got it, but only got around to sending it out today. So it's a lengthy report. I've been quickly through it once. The parts that are more germane for us are up front, and then there are appendices galore of all kinds of curves and graphs and things of the amount of electricity produced and all that. So I think we have something that more resembles a complete report. It may not be completely complete, but I think we need to go through it. Most importantly, we've, I think, established a relationship with the new operators of the Wheelock project, and have made it clear to them that they do have to do annual reporting and that we are paying attention to the permit and the conditions. So I think that's a step in the right direction, and hopefully the thing will stay in the same hands for a while, so we don't have to do this again. But I would suggest that everybody have a look at that report, read through it against the permit. And I'm not sure everyone has a copy of the permit. I have a hard copy of it that I look at all the time, but
I can send it out tomorrow. I have a copy.
okay. Yeah, so the report needs to be read against the permit. And so that's what I would advise that everybody do.
Yeah. So my understanding from the email that Jim or Tim, I forget his name, Tim, right?
Tim.
Yeah, said he couldn't come tonight. I don't see him online. I think it'd be important to invite him to the next meeting and sort of let him know that it has to get prioritized so that we can have an exchange about the report.
Mhm.
The two things, there was one item that I noticed he didn't answer, because they did go through, it was written with some eye towards what the conditions were and then responding. And there was at least one area that caught my eye that they didn't respond to. The other thing, Jeff, if you do communicate with him, there's a table about maintenance that happens, and it's all lingo. So, it's got to be sort of written in a way that a human being who's not in the industry could understand it. So I think it'd be helpful to have a back and forth with him and say, what does TC 3015 mean? That kind of stuff. So if we can invite him, that would be a helpful exchange.
What was the deficiency that you noted?
I can't remember. I can look at it and email you, but I read it today and it jumped out at me, but I didn't note what it was. But it was sort of like the applicant will do such and such and such and such, and they mentioned one thing but skipped over the other thing, and it was of note. But I'll look and let you know in the next day or two.
Miriam.
Yes. I had a couple of comments I just wanted to throw out. One was a question, and I have to check the permit. Whether the insurance certificate was for the proper amount, if they're only required 1 million. Is that correct? That's just something to check. It's neither here nor there. My comment was, I wish that there were photographs showing the stormwater system so that could, so that someone evaluating the report could look at it and see what the conditions are of those detention ponds. From looking at the photographs, what I saw was perhaps some evidence of erosion, which didn't inspire a lot of confidence about water management. So I'm wondering about whether we could request a joint site visit between the planning board and the Conservation Commission.
I think a site visit would be a good thing to do before the July 12th meeting, when we could have Tim Garcia in attendance. And then we'll have been out there and we'll be talking about what we've seen rather than what we think may be there.
Well, the Conservation Commission would like to be a part of that.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Should we invite somebody from the management or maintenance company?
Well, somebody's gonna have to tour us through there. The place is locked. It used to be what, Kevin, or but he's long gone. So yeah, there'll have to be somebody that lets us in and tours us around.
Well, I'm thinking more than just a lock opener. If that somebody was representing the company, had some observational, some influence, not just if somebody opens the door.
Yeah.
Some actual knowledge would be good.
Yeah, that's where I'm going, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing, Jeff, that just got I reminded about is in the report, there's the whole requirement about developing a wildflower meadow. And
Yep.
in response to that, I think what they wrote was that it's 90% native growth, which, native growth can be weeds. It's not really necessarily a wildflower garden meadow. So I think that kind of conversation will be worth having. And they said they're going to reseed, but
I agree, Michael. The language there was a little spongy.
yeah.
I think 90% is supposed to be the total coverage with vegetation versus bare ground. And I recall the wording is wildflowers or native plants that have regrown. I'm not sure if it all has to be wildflowers. Wildflowers
Okay.
certainly planted. I see Penny up there. Maybe she can help us.
Well, she has her hand up.
Well, one of the nice things about this is Penny, 43 Old Orchard Road. One of the nice things about the report is they list the condition before they give their report. And it says in the paragraph above, the one we're talking about, 90% of the ground surface with either plants initially installed, native plants that have filled in, or a combination. And I find it hard to believe that there is really 90% coverage based on the last time I was there, when I was on the Conservation Commission. I think they had less than 50% just by eyeballing it. So I'd like to know their methodology on coming up with 90%. And I'm glad the Conservation Commission is planning on visiting again, because that has been my concern for the years from the time Wheelock was constructed until I left the commission last December. And even though I'm not on the commission, I still worry about it a little bit. So Miriam, I'm glad the commission is going to visit. And the other thing I'm going to say is from the last site visit the commission did, which was when they did the battery install, is that there is no one local that can let you in. The people who,
Yes.
the people who were there for the site visit for the battery install came from Florida and I believe Western New York State. So best of luck.
Actually,
It's all monitored electronically, remotely.
Penny, you just reminded me of the deficiency. So
Yes.
Jeff, there's a condition in there about providing access for emergency and then the training for the fire department.
Yep.
And from my read and their responses, there's no one that has a key to get in locally from the fire department or the emergency management team that were dependent upon the developer. And that was something that we were required.
Yep.
So I'm going to sign off soon. This is Penny one more time. I agree with, I think it was Michael who said that the table on page 4 is incomprehensible. I think they receded at some point. I can't tell from looking at that table whether they did. There's a comment. What do they say? They say 2020 vegetation abatement. That's in there twice. I don't know what that means. I don't know when during the year that happened. So it would be interesting to have dates as well as what do they call them? Work order IDs. And I'd like to know when they receded and what they receded with.
I think what they said about keeping down the vegetation was that a mowing in October and some as needed cutting down of vegetation that was shading the panels.
So you think that's what vegetation abatement is?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I think they were,
Yeah, I wish they'd use plain English.
yeah, well, sure.
Yeah, I mean, they can, it's just the convenience. They just sort of took their table that they use for internal management and
Yeah, I
shared
know.
it with us, which doesn't help
Yeah.
us at all.
Right. Well, I'm glad you guys are on top of this. Hip, hip, hooray.
I mean, just a quick note, and the word abatement suggests that you are, dealing with some sort of hazard. So vegetation abatement in a solar field would, involve removing woody plants that could eventually shade the solar panels.
Well, yeah, it would just be nice if that were clear.
Chair, there are 3 hands raised in the public comment.
Robert, I'm embarrassed to admit I'm not on top of it and haven't seen the report. Is it going to be sent to us?
Are
Should be already sent out both by Jeff and myself.
Okay, I guess I missed it. Thank you.
Yeah. So do we arrange this site visit with Timothy Garcia?
Yeah, and since I've been sort of contacting him, I could be responsible for that.
And you'd let us know the date and time.
Yeah, and if there were multiple dates, maybe we could, try to get it so that most people could show up.
Yeah.
Yep, I can do that.
Jeff, would you share that with me so I can let the other commissioners know?
Who's speaking?
Miriam, Miss Miriam,
Yes.
thanks.
Okay.
There is a public comment, Mary Lou Conca.
Hi. I have a question. From the very beginning of the Wheelock Solar project, we were told that it was supposed to make money for the town. And I'm curious how we can find out about that income. Thank you. I mean, who will know? Who can we ask?
Town administrator.
Wasn't it a line item on the revenue of the budget sheet on town meeting?
I don't think so. I think it's just, I think it's just incorporated into revenue, but it's supposed to be around 90,000.
Okay, so I do remember looking at it on the budget when we had town meeting, and I thought there was a line item, and I thought it was $70,000.
70 sounds about right, having been on the select board.
I
But
don't have the budget in front of me. Actually, maybe I can get it. Hold on.
It may have been 70, but then there was an addition for the value of the batteries.
I
okay.
thought it was 86.
So Mary Lou, in short, the definitive people would be the FinCom because it's,
Okay.
they would
I know that
manage
the
the pilot.
assessor, I know that the
Okay.
assessor has spoken about how much the revenue is.
In the town newsletter, that's what I'm referring to. I don't have it in front of me, but it said potential income. The town newsletter that just came out, it used the phrase potential. So I'm just wondering, did Shutesbury really get an income from this project?
Were they talking about the 5 projects that may be proposed and the?
No, they were talking about the solar project on Pratt Corner Road. If I had the newsletter in front of me, I could quote you from it. It said potential income. So it
Mary,
just raised my curiosity.
so Mary Lou, I guess I would, there's two things I would say. One is definitely the town's getting income because it was a negotiated, so pilots negotiated between the select board and the developer. And the idea is to get steady income over a certain period of time. So
Right.
once that was established and agreed to, every year we're getting payment, whatever the amount is. So the answer is definitely yes, the town is getting money. And
From the
then
very beginning, Michael, from the very beginning?
from when the power starts running. So when the power goes to the grid is when the start of the process. So when they're building it, no. But once the power starts getting going and they're generating income,
Right.
that's the start. And then, the select board is the body who negotiates the pilot with the developer. And then the FinCom tracks it. So the planning board doesn't have any role in that at all. It's the
Right.
planning board just has the permitting, but
Right.
Mary
but-
Lou,
I'm very curious to find a piece of paper. It will have dates on it, since that installation has been here. And each year it will show, a regular Shutesbury resident, the income that project generated. Because when you all were talking about it, you said, whoa, it's going to make millions for our town. And really, I don't know that because I've never seen it.
Mary Lou, can I just make two suggestions and people chime in on this first one? But if you do go to the town website and go to the portion that was for town meeting, they have the budget materials,
Right.
right? And there's 2 budget documents. One is for revenues, one is for expenses. And on the revenues document on the second page, line 44, there's a line, it's called payment in lieu of taxes. I believe this is the category that the solar track would fall under.
Okay.
So there's like a $336,000 or
Income? It's
That's not all from this Wheeler
No,
track.
that also includes state land.
It's all the
Yeah,
pilots.
right. But I mean, that's the broad category that it would be under in the budget. And I think, and for more specific information, the second point I would make is that you might be able to get that if you reach out to the town assessor or the board of assessors.
I will. Thank you.
And one other, just a
will.
heads up. If you have the budget sheet from town meeting, on the very first page, 3rd line down, it says new growth includes solar pilot. You'll see each fiscal year and what we've received for each fiscal year from 2019 on.
And is it $90,000?
What I see here, Mary Lou, is the first year, $79,000, the second year, $60,000, the third year, if I'm reading the right line, $72,000, and 2021, 119,000.
2021.
It says 119. I don't know if that's all pilot, I mean, payment in lieu of taxes, all solar, but it says that line item does include solar pilot. If you looked at if you have the budget sheet from.
It
town meeting on
includes it.
Saturday.
It includes it, but it's not only saying the Wheelock project.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
There is another hand raised.
Please, I'm not seeing him. Thank you.
I think it's me. My name is Carlos Fontes. I live on 359 Montague Road. And so I was hearing that it's seems difficult. The access to the site is difficult. And I was wondering whether the members of the planning board and the conservation committee would think it useful to bring a camera and document the state of the site, to have a visual document of what actually is there. And that is my question.
Carlos, I would actually follow up and just say, I would find it personally helpful if someone wants to do that for the planning board, since I'm not allowed to go on the site visit. So I wouldn't mind some visuals.
I
And
never
whether we make,
received a response to that letter, huh?
no. So, whether that's, it seems like if I can see it, doesn't hurt to help the public see it as well.
So I am wondering whether this is a decision that the planning board would like to make about that or cannot make. I just wonder what the follow-up would be from my question.
Well, I think the planning board can easily, everyone will have their phones with them. It would be easy to document what we're seeing there to bring forward at the next meeting. So I think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think, well, for me, I may take some photos and videos, probably will, but I don't want to be responsible for making Wheelock the movie.
No, you would just share some of the videos and photos that you take that's relevant to the conditions, on the report.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I wasn't sure he was talking about Wheelock. I thought he was talking about the one off Montague Road.
No. Excuse me. No, I was talking about Wheelock.
Okay, thank you.
And I would volunteer if you guys send me the images that you get, since I want to see them anyway. I'm happy to, post them in a way, from the planning board page so that it would be accessible. I can do that work.
Michael, I think that would be helpful just to have them as a basis for the next meeting, to show at the next meeting when we're talking about the relevant condition.
Don
Great.
Mokuluk has his hand raised.
Hi, my question would be actually for Miriam. If you guys are going to do a site visit, and obviously I can't go on it, it would be helpful if you're going to be sort of documenting things to do an estimation of cover. I realize that's probably what you're looking at there anyway. But by doing an estimate of a square meter of covered ground, so we could get a look at what the species are that have taken root there. This is sort of goes along with Penny's question. What I see from the photograph that I did see is sedges and grasses. And, and the sound of, what you guys were talking about before, woody vegetation control. Well, obviously there's stump sprouts and saplings popping up here and there, and they shade the panels and they have to be cut. So I'd kind of like to know what is established. After all, the wildflower meadow could simply be red clover. Just would like to know what the species are and the coverage there. Thank you. I know there's people on the Concom that can do this, so that I'm not too concerned. Thank you.
We'll try.
Okay, so I think we'll have a much more informed discussion when we've all looked at the report a little bit And we've been out there and then return to the next meeting with Tim Garcia, so we can ask him questions directly.
That sounds good. Have we finished this for tonight? All right, well, let's move on.
Deacon, I'm just gonna go jump in and say, take off, but see you guys later. Tessa, thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Have fun in the Catskills.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Yeah, have fun, Michael.
Okay, well, let's move on to the Historical Commission and know that we're expecting an open space question person to arrive around 8, but let's get started on the Historical Commission.
Okay. Where are we at? Can you remind me what we're supposed to be talking about? In addition to, like, I just sent something out to you guys today. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it.
No, I don't think
I have not.
I don't think I've gotten
Oh,
today.
I sent it to planning. Okay. Does that go to everybody? Planning at,
Miriam, would you resend that?
I will. I will.
I got it, but I haven't looked through it. There was like a whole bunch of attachments with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the attachments, if you didn't get it, you can go onto the Historical Commission homepage and all of those documents are up there. So we received about half a dozen letters from the Massachusetts Historical Commission. They were writing in response to a project notification from AMP Solar. So AMP submitted a project notification to Mass Historical. Mass Historical gave written responses, which was surprising because they went into quite a bit of detail. I wasn't expecting that, so that was interesting. And they copied us. We did not get copies of the project notification, nor has AMP sent a project notification letters to us directly. They did come to our meeting last month and said that they were there to kind of address their obligation under the solar bylaw, which was great that they came to the meeting, but that doesn't really remove the obligation to send a written project notification to the Historical Commission. They still need to do that. And I would have expected that they would have sent the same thing to us that they sent to Mass Historical, since they had already sent it by the time we met last month. So I don't know what to make of that. So the take is that Mass Historical pointed out a number of historical features on these properties that need to be considered, as well as the likelihood that there may be some indigenous sites as well. And they are requesting further information from AMP Solar as the project is developed. So I took that to mean that Mass Historical Commission wants to consult. They also said that it was their understanding in the letters that there is a Section 106 nexus with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, as we suspected. So they also, Mass Historical has sent these letters also to the EPA. So that's a significant step because for Section to work, ideally, you want the State Historical Preservation Office, which is Mass MHC, to take a lead. And it looks like they are attempting to do that.
What sorts of things did they identify besides indigenous sites?
Well, there's some, I have to go and refresh my memory. I know that if you go to look at Pratt Corner Road South, Mass Historical has deemed that area a historic district because there were some historically meaningful farms in that area. And so part of the land for the Pratt Corner South sort of includes that historic district. The Leverett West, I believe, has millworks that are historically significant, as well as the sort of backland of a couple of historically meaningful farms that are documented. And then Montague Carver has at least one cellar hole that they mentioned, which is the old Carver homestead on Carver Road. So those are just some things I remember. And then they said that there were,
They call it the Tenney House, if I'm not mistaken.
is that the Tenney House on Leverett?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So that was all very interesting. And I was, what they're doing is they're taking a look at the inventory that they've already done. Mass Historical has already done a historical inventory in Shutesbury, and there's about 180 sites that they've documented. And so they are providing some context for how these particular tracts relate to those already documented and surveyed settler or early settler properties. But they're also saying that there's a possibilities for archaeological sites and other indigenous sites.
So
The other thing that that AMP has done is they have sent letters to several tribal historic preservation offices. They sent us a copy of what they sent, a copy of the letter for each site. They did not tell us which tribes they have sent this to. So I don't know if any have responded. So I put those up on our website as well, and I sent those to the planning board.
Yeah, Miriam, I used to live near the Carver Road site and have hiked and skied and biked and ridden horses all over that area. And the Carver homestead has a few features to it, including the foundation hole. It also has a well, an old well that's still there, and it has some what look like agricultural pens and maybe an area for a barn kind of behind the house. So it's a little more than just a foundation.
Yep.
I mean, there was a farm there, and they raised a bunch of Carver kids there.
Yep. No, I used to live around the corner on Montague Road. I know it well. So those things are going to have to get documented and reviewed, as well as anything else that is brought up by the researchers. My understanding is that there has been no research done yet, that everything's been on hold with AMP and their research team. Probably because they're waiting for other developments to happen. So we're going to be meeting as a commission this week and decide if we need to write to AMP to get more information, etc.
Okay.
Henry, do you have anything to add? You're muted.
No, just to mention that they expect that there are early agricultural and industrial sites in many of these locations, and that archaeological artifacts may turn up, especially in the wetlands, in and around wetlands, which is very, very consistent with native cosmology and practice.
Mm-hmm. One thing I noticed from the letters that they sent out to the tribes is that it looks to me that at least 3 of those projects are going to require some work in wetlands or in buffer zones for their access roads. Thinking Montague Road and Pratt Corner South and Pratt Corner West, I think. And if that's the case, then they are probably going to need a permit also from the Army Corps of Engineers. And they'll have to submit NOIs to the Concom.
Okay, so
is the historical commission good? We'll move on to Mr. Stadnicki.
I'm good.
Who's going to speak for Mark Whiteman's possible open space design.
Hello, I'm Mark Stadnicki.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm coming in front of the board just to inquire about what the fees will be for the submittal of a site plan review and special permit for the open space design, which will also entail a common drive. According to the zoning bylaw, it's all wrapped up into one special permit or like one meeting. So I wasn't sure what the fees would be.
Yeah, and one question I had was, the number of lots that you apply for is not necessarily the number that wind up being approved. And how does that affect the fee? I mean, do you pay up front for the number of lots you want and then get a refund if we don't approve that many? I mean, when
No, Deacon, I think that has to do with the magnitude of the project that we're going to consider. The number of lots.
Didn't we establish a fee schedule a while back?
Yeah.
A table?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, those lots have to come back in the form of A&R applications, and they'll be, then you charge the fees for the actual lots that are created under the approval not required. The open space design is more of a concept. So the number of lots just indexes to the magnitude of the project. The larger the magnitude, the higher the fee, I think.
So on your fee schedule, for a special permit involving open space design, it's like $400 plus $100 per lot. So if you're saying that, would that $100 per lot be per the lots that you want to try getting, as Deacon questioned? Or would it be billed afterwards, whether or not the special permit gets approved or not?
I think you pay that up front for the number of lots that you're proposing. The special permit is not going to create the lots. It's going to allow the lots to be created subsequently through the A&R process that you've probably done A&Rs before, right?
Yeah.
Lots of them. So it's 2 steps: special permit, fee, and then you come back and however many lots you get approved for, then you apply for them under the A&R, and you're going to have to pay that too.
Yeah, I understand that portion of it. But my question is there 2 separate fees for each permit? Or is it all just one fee and all rolled into one permit for the common drive and the open space design?
That's a good question that
I know I
does
called
not have
Mr. Lacey on the phone and asked him, and he didn't have the answer.
he still doesn't.
what did we do for Chuck Damari? I don't remember.
That might be worth checking.
And where is the fee schedule that we approved several months ago?
It's in the planning board. It's in the planning board section of the town website.
Yeah, the schedule states $400 for a special permit plus the $100 per lot for an open space design. But my question is whether or not
Oh, okay, I see it.
you guys or the board will roll all of it into one permit, as the bylaw states that it should all be looked under one special permit meeting.
Well, it's a consolidated proceedings so that they're not serial and it doesn't take forever for you to get your, because we have like 150 days to do each special permit. So you don't want to have 150 and then 150. So you try to do it all the special permits in the first 150 days or less. With consolidated hearings and things like that. So, I mean, there is a good argument for one fee. I'd have to think it through, probably see what we did with Damari and ask town council. I might also put that out on the planners listserv, see what other planning departments do around the state. So I don't have a real clear-cut answer, at least for me right now, right this second. Are you ready to submit?
We're getting close to being ready to submit. I think we're waiting on a few documents and then we'll be packaging it up to submit.
Okay.
And the wetlands delineation is accomplished?
Yes. We had the ANRAD sign, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if
I can have my client put both fees in and then you guys can determine after that. I just wanted clarification for my own behalf.
I would be willing to. I'd be willing to research it, see what the general practice is in other towns. Maybe consult our council. Look back at the Damari permit, or just call Chuck and see if he remembers, and then get that information to the chair between meetings, who could relay it to you. I mean, I don't know, it's not really it's just information. It's not a decision by the board. Could the board delegate the decision on this to the chair after he receives some research from me? I mean, would that be an acceptable way to handle it between meetings if we just delegated it to the chair now, voted on that?
Robert has his hand raised.
Who does?
Did you say Robert?
I just had my hand up to indicate I was fine with Jeff's suggestion.
Okay. Is there a consensus on this? Do we need a vote? Or does anybody object to doing it that way?
No, I don't. Maybe we should take a vote just to be on the safe side.
Well, make a motion, Steve.
I'll make a motion that we vote to assign Jeff to do the research for fees for special permit for open space design development.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, more discussion?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to put this together because so yeah, I did see, I saw the thing that says there's what a $400 or $500 fee for residential use, special permit with open space design with $100 for each additional lot. Right. And then, when you open up the, approval not required for subdivisions, it gives you a fee of $70 per lot.
That would be later, Nathan.
Right. So, but I mean, with those two together, so there would be the fee for the special permit, which is, I think, was it $400 plus $100 a lot?
Yep.
So you would
But
take
there's,
that,
a-
add the number
but
of
there's
lots.
another special permit. So
Yeah, there's 2 special permits that are going to be required.
yeah, he has another one for a shared driveway. So, so those are the permits that he wants now. The A&R will come
But since-
later.
Since those would be consolidated into a single special permit hearing, it would fall under a residential use with open space design. So it would be $400 plus $100 for each additional lot, would it not?
Well, it would be, if he was not proposing a shared driveway, it would be only one special permit for the open space design. But he's proposing a shared driveway, which is also a use by special permit. So he's got 2 special permit uses, the open space design
Okay,
and the shared driveway. They're both, they could both go individually as special permits with their own fees.
right, okay.
But we have an opportunity to consolidate the proceedings so they go along the same timeline. It shortens everything
Right.
up.
Right, so when we did this fee schedule, we did not make a determination on what we would do if there were two special permit applications that under the bylaw are permitted to be consolidated into a single hearing.
No, but that's what we would be doing now.
Right, okay. And what you're proposing is that you're gonna research to go into other towns or, look at other towns, look at what we've done in the past and see if we can find, figure out what the, best practice or what the precedent is around this and go based on that.
Yep.
Now, and I'd ask one more question. So the open space design that you're going to propose, Mark, is going to include 3 building lots and then an open space lot. So 3 building lots and 1 other.
Yes.
Okay.
It'd be 3 building lots and then 1 conservation open space lot.
Okay. Yeah.
And Jeff, would you also be checking with Donna on this?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable with that.
Well, so anybody want to talk more before I call the roll?
So I won't make the decision though. I'll just relay my research results to the chair and the chair will make the decision.
That's what I wanted to clarify, because the vote only, Steve's vote only noted that Jeff was going to do the research, not including that part about relaying it to the chair, who would then relay it to the applicant.
Okay, well, can I amend that motion to add the information about relay that information to the chair? Or relay that information to the board? I don't know, does it matter?
Well, I thought that the amendment was that I would make the decision based on the research that Jeff provided me.
Okay, then let's amend it to report to the board, to the chair, I'm sorry. You got that, Tessa?
So the chair makes the final decision.
Yes,
Release. Thank you.
based on Jeff's research.
Got it.
Okay. That's the motion.
Okay. So, if nobody's else going to talk, I'm going to call the roll now. Okay, good. Nathan?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. And Michael's left. So- Okay. Good, so. Well, Mr. Standicki isn't showing on my screen and, oh, I'm sorry, there you are. There you are. So I'll be in touch with you when I find out the score.
Okay. Yeah, and if my client wants to send in the application sooner, I'll just have him send in both payments and we can go from there, I guess. I mean, I don't want to hold him up, so if he's willing to pay both, then so be it. I mean, it's more so going forward to know whether or not it's one fee or two. I mean, I don't know what his timeline, he wants the timeline to be, so.
Okay, so, well, okay, well, I'll be in touch with you when I know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Have a good night.
okay, good night.
Night. Okay. And now we come to the sad news of the night. Tessa's leaving us.
Yes, I have accepted a job, a full-time position with Mount Grace Land Trust. And Jeff's raising his hand.
No, I was looking for a little emoji that was like crying or something.
So Tessa, just tell the planning board, was it because of Jeff or Deacon? And that is the reason you're really kind of moving on.
You really want me in the hot seat. It has nothing either to do with that at all. I've learned a lot from all of you and it's been really educational and interesting. So it has to do with doing greater conservation work on a larger scale.
That's very polite.
What will you be doing with Mount Grace?
I will be their stewardship manager. So I will be looking at monitoring all of their properties and working with the communities to get them out on the land.
Oh, good. So you have a lot of field work with that.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Tessa.
Thank you. But I have been thinking about steps moving forward. I'm not sure exactly how long, you guys might remember better how long the process took last time. From my guess at looking through the minutes, it was like about 2 months between Linda's resignation. I don't know if you guys recall how much time the lapse was. It seemed like one of the bigger things I do is the minutes. And so what I was thinking in regards to that, I believe from my information from town clerk is that even if meetings go back to in person, that they're going to try and find a way to record them, in which case the most important thing would be just to have someone recording the actual motion, since that's what's required by law to be in the minutes. So if a board member was willing to cover whatever meetings take place before they hire a new clerk and just focus on getting the motions language. And then whoever becomes hired as clerk can kind of do a little bit of catch up by doing the recordings and get more detailed minutes perhaps later. It was a thought I had.
Motions and votes.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know if a board member was willing to be that person, at least figure that out.
Gonna have to do it.
Huh? Is that the newest member volunteering? Isn't that a tradition?
Well, not volunteering, but the policy the planning board set up a long time ago, newest member is the one who takes the notes, right?
Only for the first 3 years, right, Steve?
That's right.
And then 6 years down the line when we're in between people.
That encourages you, Nathan, to get somebody else to run for planning board.
Well, we have to have a vacancy first.
Yes, we do. Or associate member, maybe.
Who's up for real? Yeah. We got to get some associate members in here.
And we'll also need to have someone host meetings. Which is
okay.
Well, Jeff is the clear choice because he's really tech savvy. So I would opt for him.
Except for me. I mean,
I was going to suggest Deacon.
Yeah. Somebody's going to have to do it.
This definitely falls on me, folks.
Tessa, have they posted for your position yet?
I'm not sure.
I spoke to Becky last week. My sense is that that an ad is appearing this week. And I also left a phone message for Becky suggesting that that she get in touch with the with the other candidate we interviewed before we hired Tessa. We had a very hard time deciding between them. And if that person, we were impressed with that person too. So I've suggested Becky be in touch with her and see if she is interested now.
Thanks, Nathan. So I guess the other thing, a couple other topics of things covered. Michael did the annual report last time. I was going to touch base with him through email and see if he'd be willing to do it again. The fiscal year ends this month. And then the other big thing is if a project comes in, it might seem like it's going to happen sooner rather than later, is the mailing the butters. And Deacon knows this. In connection to that, Linda has ordered envelopes that specifically say planning board. Up until this point, the envelopes have just said town of Shutesbury return address. So new envelopes are going to be coming in just for the planning board's use. And then once they come in, maybe it can be sorted out who could kind of take on mailing butter lists. And to help with that, I have been putting together a master binder for this position that includes templates. It includes addresses that are required. And so all that information will be clear at town hall. And also in related to the solar, Deacon asked me to create a solar binder for all the communications that have come in to this date, even though we don't have a project application in. And so I have done that. That's also at town hall. It's divided by communications within the town board, communications with AMP, and communications with the public. So that's available to be reviewed at any time. And I'm keeping that up to date up until my last day, which is this coming Friday.
Thank you.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you. And then I guess one other thing I had a thought during the meeting, since it seemed like a couple board members weren't seeing the emails being sent out, I would just check spam folder and see if you're getting the planning board emails, because to save you seeing things twice, I've just been emailing the planning board at shutesbury.org email because I thought that was forwarded to everybody. So I just make sure. It would be good to know if that isn't working.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all those emails that we were talking about during the meeting today were sent to the planning board email address. So.
Yeah, those go into my spam, and I get a spam report like once a day, usually in the morning, and it sometimes it covers stuff from the day before. So a lot of times I'm sort of held back a day, and if I was a little slicker, like Mr. Steve mentioned, I could probably figure a way around that, but
yeah, the market is mark the email from the server or whatever is not spam, right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
I'll take a walk down Baker Road, Jeff, and hopefully we can get that straightened out. Blueberries are coming soon too, right?
Blueberries, and you'll get a beer for your efforts too.
Yeah.
Okay, I could deal with that.
Yeah.
If you come to my house, you can get mushrooms.
All right. Well, do you have a spam folder that needs some things to come out of it?
My spam folder is available immediately.
But Nathan, shiitake is not the other kind of mushrooms Deacon's talking about.
No, I know. We had a conversation about this
Okay.
previously, so that's no, I love shiitake mushrooms.
All right. Shall we move on from Tessa's resignation to the town meeting?
Sure.
Town meeting.
One question I had was, how fast we move on the associate members. I mean, can we just start that process right away?
Why not?
Yeah.
We should probably, I'm not sure how many people look at our website on the town thing, but we probably should put it up there. We should probably mention it at our meetings once or twice, you know, for the people who attend. Well, we're not going to do this anymore, are we, with the Zoom? Or maybe we will. I don't know. Depends on. There's a bill in the legislature now that hopefully, if it gets signed by midnight or something, we'll be able to keep doing Zoom. But anyway, whatever kind of meeting we have, we should probably make those in attendance aware that we're seeking associates. Town announce.
Yeah, yes, that's where I was,
Yeah.
that was my next thought.
Town announce.
Well, yeah.
If
Do you know
we
what the
know of-
status is with remote meetings versus in-person meetings? Does anyone know?
No, but today's the last day.
Tomorrow, June 15th is the ending of the state of emergency, and there's a legislation that would allow, potentially allow hybrid or in-person or remote meetings and still be listen to open meeting law, abide by open meeting law. But if it doesn't get passed tomorrow, then it has to go back in person, from what I've heard.
Yeah.
If we know of people who are interested in associate membership, should we have them notify you, Deacon?
That's sure. That's probably fine. So yeah, notifying me is fine, but we need, but I think first we just need to get the notifications out ourselves that we're interested.
Yeah, we need to develop a process.
Yeah. Well, I think we've started. I mean, Jeff mentioned town announce meetings. And the website, those are all good. I mean, maybe there's
Deacon,
there's next door too.
Could you try to work something out with, you know, with Becky? She sort of controls town announce, and
Yeah, I will.
you know, and the information about associate members can be taken directly from our bylaw amendment. It's probably, you know, you could just carve it together out of that, you know, to describe what it is.
Yeah.
So the chair, the commission's method is that they have a notice, a template notice that they send out. I just adjusted to say that there would be 2 vacancies in July. And I send it actually to Linda as admin secretary. So she's the one who sends it out. So I expect it would be similar here, that whatever you want, right, I would send it to Linda, admin secretary.
Should we request other boards to announce it at their meetings in case any public is there, or would that be kind of getting a little bit nitty gritty?
Well, our process is a little different than the Concom's. The select board directly appoints people to the Concom. Our process has it go through the planning board first.
Right.
And then we bring forward candidates that we recommend to the select board for a joint vote of the 2 boards. But the 2 boards can only vote on candidates that we bring forward. So it goes through us first.
No, that's understood.
Though when you were appointed, Nathan, every person who expressed interest, we forwarded to the joint meeting between the planning board and the select board. We did not we did not make judgments in that situation.
Right. Although for this, we would be able to do that. If we had 10 applicants, we would be able to narrow it down to some
We
smaller
would be able
number
to do that, but
of at least two.
that wasn't what we did last time.
Right, understood.
Right,
But
well, that
the
was a
question I was
vacancy,
asking
that was,
about
yeah, that was a vacancy, and it was before this bylaw passed. So we were doing it according to how vacancies are filled, but, and this is a little different.
Right.
So we have our own unique process for this.
Yeah.
Might we want to notify those folks who were asking to be appointed to the position that Nathan got, notify them that the associate position is now open?
I think that's a good idea.
Sure.
And how would that be done?
They could be called or written to. I mean, I think we remember who most of them were.
Veronica Richter, Alan Hansen.
Aren't they in, wouldn't they be in the minutes of that meeting?
Yeah, they would. We have more than memory. Thank God.
Was Mary David, but didn't she end up on is she on the Concom now?
Yeah, she is on the conservation.
She was elected, I think.
And Board of Health.
No, I don't think she made it.
No, she's not on the Board of Health?
I don't think she got elected.
Oh.
Just for its worth, I think I wrote to the planning board saying I was interested in being an associate.
Yes, you did. Well, the bylaw that we passed at town meeting says that we will establish a process for soliciting and receiving names.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So part one is soliciting.
Yeah.
And part two is kind of the process that we've done in the past, which is go through the candidates, hear from each of them, and then discuss amongst the board what we think and then vote.
Well, we have to, vote which ones to forward to the joint meeting of the planning board and the select board.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think we have to just take step one is, put the notice out there, the solicitation out there.
Right.
Well, step one is to establish the process of solicitation. Which, seriously, I think we need to, are we gonna go on next, or are we gonna just use town announce and website and that's it? Whatever it is, I think, it should be established. We should, maintain it, amend it as necessary.
So Tessa, when the admin secretary puts out something for the Concom, is that town announce?
I believe so.
And is that exclusively how they do it?
That I'm not sure. I'd have to check with Linda.
Maybe you could check with Linda, Tessa, and then shoot the planning board an email, because I think we should just follow the process that other boards have established for solicitation. There's no reason we have to invent our own method.
Yeah. There will probably be some word of mouth. There'll probably be people that tune into the meeting and hear about it. But maybe the official way is town announce.
So, yeah, I would
Although town announced does not get to everybody in town. I mean, we should probably be broader than that as well.
Well, let's find out what the other boards do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and then follow suit.
Yeah, so I would like to make a motion that, for the next meeting, I will volunteer to, bring a proposal for what the process will be, which is, essentially, and then we can, vote on that and then initiate the process at that time.
So, but that would imply that we wouldn't be sending anything out now.
You think we should send something out before the next meeting?
Well, I would like to get this rolling fairly quickly, because I mean, I don't know when or if these special permit applications are going to be coming in.
Yeah, I agree, Deacon.
I mean, I'm not sure we should wait for early July.
Okay.
I think, Nathan, you can still come up with, additional processes and we can standardize it, but we can go forward with at least town announce and whatever else the administrator or administrative secretary, however else that person gets the word out.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to, I don't want to drag this thing out either. I just want to make sure that we do it in a way that doesn't, that can't be construed as in conflict with the bylaw we just passed. And it says that, we're going to establish a process. So if that is establishing a process, I don't know if that would require a roll call vote by a quorum of the board, if it could, or, if the chair has the power to just establish that process, just by saying, all right, yeah, we're going to do it. We'll do town announce and we'll, do word of mouth and we'll do, and that's enough to do it.
Why don't we establish a process that we will use town announce? We will mention it at our board meetings. And we as planning board members will do word of mouth as well.
I think that's good enough.
So those would be the three things we're going to do.
That's good for me.
Announce it at our meeting, word of mouth, and
town announce.
Okay.
Should we do anything with next door Shutesbury?
That could be, that would be considered word of mouth. I think, I mean, we could, include social media. So word of mouth, including, but not limited to social media.
That's fine. I think that's good.
So the social media stuff would be an extension of the word of mouth by, say, individual planning board members who happen to be on Nextdoor or happen to be on eCricket.
Right. We would want to, say that social media is, permitted, but not required.
Right. So it's ad hoc by members.
Yes. Ad hoc social media outreach by members. Yes, that's perfect.
All right. So do we want to have like a motion that'll be our process?
I can make a motion for that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that our process will be to solicitate associate planning board members by way of town announce, announcing it at our meetings, word of mouth by board members, and discretionary or, what did we say, ad hoc social media outreach by board members.
Second.
Okay, and we hear a second?
I've seconded it.
Okay, great. And any more talk?
Do we want to add to the motion that as part of the solicitation would indicate folks should contact Deacon if they have an interest?
Yeah, and if they contacted me through planning at shutesbury.org, the other members would see it too, and that'd be good.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, we can amend the motion to, in any of the outreach, note that interested parties should contact the planning board at, planning at shutesbury.org or whatever the designated planning board email address, and or contacting the planning board chair directly.
Okay, good.
And let's see, all right, so we're discussing, so Deacon, the town announcement thing is probably the most important thing, and you will work with Becky to get that out, or
Work with Becky, Linda, whichever.
okay, and you'll put it together just using some of the language in the recent amendment to describe
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay, so does everybody understand the amendment before we vote?
I guess we could possibly put one thing out there, one more thing out there, in that should we indicate some sort of time frame as far, in any kind of like in the town announce or in our word of mouth announcements of this? 30 days, 60 days, ASAP, at the discretion of the chair. At the discretion of the chair. And the chair says we need this done ASAP. So that's what I would go with. If everyone is also.
I do think, because we don't know when we're going to get special permit application.
Right. No, I totally agree, Deacon. I think ASAP is good.
Okay.
All right, I have to go very soon, so let's just get this done, okay, please?
Excellent. So I'll call the roll now unless there's more talk. Okay, Steve.
Yes, aye.
Jeff.
Aye.
Nathan.
Aye.
Linda.
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Okay. I think I'm used up. I don't think we need to talk about more stuff unless somebody wants to bring it up.
Deacon, I have one thing I want to bring up, just to the planning board to keep in mind. That photograph on the cover of the annual report for Wheelock, I think is very instructive for people and takes the concept of acreage out of the abstract as we look at future projects. And I'd like us to keep it at hand. Remember that was a 20-acre of, if I remember correctly, of solar panels and 10 acres of buffer, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, I just think it would be instructive. People can make their own mind up as to what that looks like, but I think I think that would be very useful to have at our fingertips. That's all.
Well, that Wheelock report is public now. It's been submitted to the planning board and discussed here. So that's a public document. Anybody can get a hold of it.
No, I understand, Jeff. I just think we should, as a planning board, we should just have it like in our toolbox.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm ready for an motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it and add that we'll be adjourning and bidding a fond farewell to Tessa.
Indeed.
With our sincere thanks and appreciation for your good work.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And if there are things come to mind that I can help prepare for the next person, definitely let me know.
Will do. Thank you, Tessa.
Okay.
So
We have a vote?
Yes, and I'll call the roll. You first, Steve.
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye. Aye and bye.
Nathan,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Robert.
Aye, and thank you, Tessa.
I'm an aye, and thank you, Tessa, again.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Good night.